All right, well, welcome. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Trevor. I host a podcast called The Farm Traveler, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to do a tutorial on how I use Adobe Audition to edit the podcast. So we're going to go through it. I'm going to show you how I edit a podcast from start to finish. It'll be real quick and easy. So I hope you get a thing or two from this episode or from this video. So I've been using Adobe Audition for like a year after switching from Audacity. Audacity is free. It's great. But the tools in Adobe Audition are much better. So I have the Adobe Cloud, which I'll show you later on. And so that's how I use Adobe Audition. And it's great. So I'll go ahead and open it up. And really what I use to what I use to record the podcast is super important. I use either Zoom or Zencastr. So Zencastr has higher audio quality as well as video, but you'll have issues every now and then with your guests if they have bad internet or if they close out of it. So Zoom is really a good follow through or a good fallback. But Zencastr is really good. That's actually what I used for this episode. So, all right, we're in Adobe Audition. What I do, we'll just go to a new one, multi-track session, and I've saved a template, FT, meaning Farm Traveler Podcast, in here. And basically, once you set up audio tracks and music and all that, you can then save it as a template or export it as a template. So that's what I have here. So I'm just going to browse to my files. This is episode 107. So I'm just going to say 107 episode, and then, oh gosh, I hit the period and then hit OK. All right, so here's my template. I've got music. You can see it's already in there. It's pre-populated. I started out with music from YouTube for free because that's the great way to get started. But then I paid a guy to do this intro. So to get started, I'm going to import our files. So I'm going to go over to 107 and import both of these. And then they're loading. Of course, your load times may vary depending on your PC. I think for those of you that might be interested, I have a custom PC with a Ryzen 5 and 16 gigs of memory. So if you have more, obviously if you have more RAM, obviously it's gonna be quicker. So I'm now going to drag it over here, both tracks. Actually, let me go like this. I like to have my voice on top and the guests on the bottom. Really just up to you. So let me drag this one down, drag this one up whenever it's ready. All right, I'm gonna drag it up. All right, so the first thing I do, I will go into my audio and then just scroll out, double click it. I'll go up to favorites. If you're in Audition, a lot of these are already gonna be in there. Like fade out, fade in, adding bass, normalize. You can add your favorites on here as well. So one that was actually already in here is normalized to -3 decibels. So I click it and it will normalize the entire track to where it's not peaking, which is ideal. And if I want to look at it, which this is why Adobe Audition is great, you can just select a point, use your click wheel to zoom in. Let me get this out of here, and then
you just have to in the city limits. You can get them. You just have to ask your neighbors.
The levels. I'm just gonna rate. You have to be careful because if you're zoomed in and you double click, you can see up here you're only selecting a certain portion of the audio track. So make sure if you're making a mass change like adding bass or normalizing the whole track, you scroll back and click the entire thing. This little doodad, I have no idea what this is called, but it's super handy. You can adjust amplitude, that's what it is. You can raise or lower the decibel levels on the track with this slider. So the rule of thumb I've heard is that you want your podcast audio to be between -1 and -3 decibels. Maybe you've heard differently. That's fine. I've heard between -1 and -3, so I try to keep it around -3 and -2. So I'm going to go there and I'm going to do the best thing ever, Control S to save all my changes right now. So all of these little doodads are just like me breathing. Sometimes it's me hitting the boom arm. Totally up to you if you want to edit some of these things out. I sometimes do, sometimes don't. You can notice these big chunks in here. Let me go here and hit play.
Oh, nice. Yeah, there you go.
That's sometimes just like me saying, oh, nice, or really cool. My word filler in all the audio or in all the episodes is really cool. So for something that the speaker or the guest might be speaking over, I'll actually come in here and I'll reduce the noise of that a little bit so it doesn't cut them off as much. And a handy thing to do in Audition is if you want to repeat an action, like how I just lowered the decibels of this, I'm going to zoom out and then go to this, which I'm pretty sure is a laugh. Let's see. Yep, it's a laugh. I'm going to just highlight this whole thing and then hit Control R, and it just repeats it. I'm just going to do it again. Let's see what these are. These more laughs.
Hey, there you go. That's awesome.
Yeah. So you see how this peaks a little bit? Notice down here.
Hey, there you go. That's awesome.
Gets a little red. I'm going to reduce it a bit. Is this also the same?
No, you're good.
Nope. So that's good. So I'm just going to keep scrolling.
Nice. That's awesome.
Okay, yeah, that's good too. And I've learned you can keep doing this
Nice.
for however long you might want to do, because you want to get a perfect sounding podcast. There is no such thing as a perfect sounding podcast. You can critique it for hours and hours and hours, but it might never be absolutely perfect. So once you think it's good, just go ahead and send it out. That's what I've always tried to do, at least the past couple dozen of episodes or so. So a little laugh. That's all pretty good. I'm just going to, just to save time, I'm going to highlight this entire section in here and just lower the audio real quick. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, yeah, probably a good idea.
So yeah, you can kind of hear it. It's kind of clipping there a little bit. Let me do it here. Do it here.
Yeah, true. Like, if you're okay with
it. So that's fine. I'm going to go here. And then I'm going to keep doing all of this. Pretty good. This, pretty good. All right, we're nearing the end. Again, it is Control R to repeat all of your actions. And I think Control Z, or let's see. Yeah, to undo, Control Z. And you can see all these shortcuts right here. So yeah, repeat actions, Control R. So yeah, Adobe Audition is great. I haven't really found any super helpful tutorials on how to use Adobe Audition from start to finish. So that's why I'm making this. Maybe you have. And if you have, feel free to link it in the description and I will be sure to check it out. And everybody else that listens to this might be able to check it out. Actually, let's, yeah. So this is pretty sweet. Still doing this on just a couple other sections, and I'm going to hit Control Save. Now, I'm going to go back and hit 0. If you're on a single track like this, you can hit 0, and you can go back to the entire episode. Or if you want to go to the track again, you can hit 9. So 0 and 9, or you can just double click it. So you notice how all this is pretty high. Let me just click on here.
That really blows
it's not bad.
people's mind for some reason.
So I'm just going to go back to this and I'm going to normalize to -3 and then did it a little bit lower, but that's okay. I'm just going to raise it up a little bit higher. I still don't know the answer to this question. And if you do, link me a video in the description. But I don't know if there's anything in Adobe Audition that will, for example, raise up all the low ends to meet the high ends. Usually when you do an amplify, it amplifies everything. So you might have a little bit of a valley here followed by a peak, which I'm going to lower right now. So yeah, sometimes it can get severe depending on who your interviewer is, depending on how they're speaking, stuff like that. So it really just depends. But this video track is actually pretty good. I'm going to go in here and see what this whole thing is.
Yeah.
So it's my guest saying yeah. So a little side note, on the Farm Traveler podcast, I interview farmers and ranchers, entrepreneurs, a bunch of people in the food and agricultural world to figure out how our food comes from. So that's what the show is about. I use, like I said, Zoom and Zencastr to interview people. And the best story I've had, I interviewed a guy in South Florida who's on the show. And he was answering a question, and he started his tractor mid-sentence. And I could not hear a word he was saying. So I had to get him to, go back and reword the answer. So yeah, let's go back to the sound real quick, or the music. It's a podcast, everything is sound. But I had a traditional intro where you have a quick slice of audio from the interview here, and then you have the introduction, and then you have the podcast. Well, now I'm just doing an introduction, then straight into the podcast. So I still have this intro music here, but I'm going to delete it and then just slide this one over. Music's really handy. So you might notice over here you have an additional pane in Adobe Audition, and I will show you what that does. I'm going to click on this track over here, and you can edit what sort of audio track this is. Is it dialogue? Is it music, sound effects, or whatever? So for all these, obviously for a podcast, I'm going to click dialogue. And then what I like to use is, for the EQ, is background voice, and I just lower it to about 2.5 to 3.0. And it makes it sound a little bit warmer, I think. And so I'm going to do that to both tracks real quick. And this is a great tool if you need to repair anything, if you need to fix it. This, actually, I'll show you with this episode, with this one. So if I hit play,
got tons of
you kind of
really
see how that
good
sounds.
hands-on experience,
And I can also raise or lower the decibels down here. Raise it really high, or lower it to where it's really low, and keep it around 0.
And
background noise.
All sorts of different animals.
Let's see if you can really tell the difference.
And stuff, and ended up
kind of tell the difference a little bit, not really.
There, coming back home.
So yeah, I just think it sounds a little bit warmer, a little better. You can do things like podcast voice, which I don't really like.
Virginia,
it kind of sounds
right
flat.
You
can see the
I'm
wave
in North
right
Carolina
here.
now, but I'm like 3 miles from the Virginia line.
So you can also do an old telephone.
So, I actually was an ag teacher for
which I think is really funny. The old radio noise. You can do locked in a trunk.
And
I think it might be interesting to do a locked in the trunk one for the whole episode. But no. So 3.0. You can also do a repair. If you've been podcasting for a while, audio from Zoom really gets a lot of help if you try to repair it. If they're in an echoey room, you can do de-reverb. Let me see if I can do that.
With my farmer's market because I
So
actually used
let's
to be
reduce
a vendor,
reverb.
and they were looking for a market manager.
Sounds pretty good. You
and
kind of notice
they
it in the
had
background a little
meetings
bit.
about it. One of the vendors that's there now.
So again, this is all kind of going to be a personal preference depending on how the interview went. Sometimes you'll need a lot of this, sometimes you won't. So yeah, I'm actually not going to do much to these tracks because they're actually pretty decent in terms of recent audio. I've had some interviews where they're super low or super high, or there's a lot of reverb or something. So I just moved this down here. So let's say, for example, you need to edit out some content on some tracks. So I'm just going to zoom in here. Let's go here.
I always tell people chicken or crack, man. Like once you get
Chicken or
five,
crack.
you're gonna get.
She's talking about chickens. Chickens are great. So if you want to cut a slice of audio and you're on the main audio editor, you can go here and click R. And you can also click the tools. Where are the tools? Anywhere. You can showcase the buttons on here. Oh, no, right here. Anyway. Yeah, you can showcase the buttons, but I don't know where it is right now. So I'm going to hit Control. I'm just going to hit R. And then you notice the two, remember this, the two razor icons right here. You notice them. Well, if I hit R again, it's only one. So when it's only one razor, you're going to edit only one track. If there's two, which I hit R again, you're going to cut both of them. So that's really handy if maybe you need to cut out a section of both or whatever. So yeah, it took me like hours to figure out why that was happening. And it's just R. And you might notice I can zoom in and out. If you're on this track, hit Control and then use your scroller. So I'm just going to hit Control Z to back off those changes. Hit Control S to change it. So yeah, and if you're trying to move anything around, you just hit V. And then you can go back to, you can click and drag and really do anything. So I'm going to go to the front. The intros are around, let's see, about 5 minutes or so. And I'll walk you through that. Here we have the music. So I'm going to go in here. Let's see where the introduction actually is. So I'm going to start playing these and see where it actually starts. I usually start it with like, hey, welcome to the Farm Traveler Podcast, so-and-so. And here's a quick little advice, I guess, to you. If you're editing a podcast, or actually if you're recording a podcast, think about doing the introduction after your interview. Kind of like how Joe Rogan does and how a lot of other big-time podcasters do. they'll really just start the interview by saying, "Hey, so-and-so, how are you doing?" or something like that. Because nobody really wants to sit through. I've seen like professionals do it time and time again where they go through talking about the guest for like 2 minutes while the guest is there. So it's kind of awkward. So just do that afterwards. It doesn't increase your workload by much. So just food for thought. So let's see where the actual interview begins. Let me back it up here again real quick and let's see.
Mother, I like that, the motherhood.
Yeah, it's like we don't have Crips and Bloods, but they're just as bad.
I don't know what we were referring to, but not the actual games.
That's hilarious. All right, well, Megan, welcome to the farm.
All right, so that's the beginning. So this is a great thing you can do with Adobe Audition. If you want to move the beginning or the end of a track, you just go to where the red icon is, where you move around until your mouse is the red icon, and then you just drag it. And then boom. The audio is still there. If you ever want to come back and add it, you can just do that. So I'm going to do that for both tracks, and then I'm going to hit save. And then to make sure they're both in sync, I'm going to click and drag until they're both highlighted, and I'm going to go over here. And what I like to do, so this is the music. Let's play it. So I like to have it where the audio starts to come in kind of while the music is kind of trailing off. Again, personal preference. Let's just see how this goes.
All right, well, Megan.
All right, I think that's a little bit long, so let's try that again.
All right, well, Megan, welcome to the Farm Traveler Podcast. How are you?
That was good. I'm going back to this main audio track. If you want it to fade in, which sometimes I do, and actually we'll fade it in for this one. You can highlight a certain area and you can go to favorites and hit fade in or fade out or de-reverb or anything. So I'm going to hit fade in and check this out.
All right, well, Megan, well.
But undoing it, depending on how long that is, sometimes I find for like a short little sentence like that, it's going to be like low and then high. There's a very quick change in volume there. So I really don't tend to do it that much. If I do anything, I will actually just lower it a little bit. So yeah, I think that's good. I'm going to go back, hit 0, and I think that's
all right, well,
all pretty good. So I am going to do the introduction real quick, and then I'm going to edit that, and then I will show you what that's like. Which, if you can see this, the mic I use is a Yeti Blue mic. It's great. One thing I do in this room, it's pretty soundproof. I turn down the gain to really, really low. That way I can edit it and you don't hear much sound. Like, I don't know if you can hear it now, but we have an AC unit like right outside this window. So sometimes you can hear it, sometimes you can't. So yeah, I think the gain is really helpful for that. So I'm going to do the intro and then edit it, and I will show you what that goes like. So I'll show you a little peek into podcasting. So if you ever watch Thomas Frank, which I'll edit him, I'll add him down below. He has suggested multiple times on how powerful Notion is, which that is what I use for Notion. I have all of my seasons, episodes, podcast guests, interview dates, everything down here. So this is what we have. I'll make a separate video for all this. So right now I'm going to in work, and these are how I have my episodes highlighted as, you know, they're in work. This one went out last week. Vertical Harvest, and actually, if you want to learn about them, I will link that in the description. Also, they have a hydroponic farm, and they grow produce with disabled adults, or basically like underserved communities with learning disabilities, and it's so cool. Like, just the jobs they provide, everything. So that was a really fun interview. So when that's done, I've created all these options and stuff, so that one has been released. So now it's out of the in-work one. So I'm going to open up this one. This is the guest from today. Her name is Megan, and she works in North Carolina. And here's some questions we covered and stuff like that. So I am going to just, boom, put it over here. And if you want, here's how you record. Let me show you. So you go to your track, whichever one you want to do. I'm going to do track 3. I'm going to hit mono and then Yeti stereo and then hit record. And then you can see my speaking is now highlighting the bars here. But I'm going to turn down the gain a little bit so it's a little bit better and it will be easier to edit. So now I'm going to do the introduction and I'm basically just going to hit record. And what I always do at the beginning, don't talk for like 2 to 3 seconds. That way you can use the background noise to help reduce the background noise. And I will show you how to do that once we are done. So I'm going to hit record and then show you how to do this. Hello and welcome to the Farm Traveler Podcast. My name is Megan Harris. No, my name is not Megan Harris. So yeah, I messed up. I hit pause, or I hit the space bar and that paused it, so I'm going to redo the introduction. I can't tell you how many times it takes to redo an intro. I've done it where it took me like literally 20 times to do an introduction. You get nervous talking to yourself and all that stuff. So let's try this again. I'm going to hit record. And my name is not Megan Harris. That was the guest. Hello and welcome to the Farm Traveler Podcast. My name is Trevor Williams, and today on the show, we are talking with Megan Harris. She has chickens, she has goats, she works with a farmer's market in North Carolina, and we're going to chat with her. I'm always fascinated with how farmers markets have started, how people are wanting to buy locally raised produce or locally raised meats and stuff like that. And I think it is actually like super phenomenal. I mean, you're supporting local farmers and ranchers, you're supporting the local economy. And especially now with COVID, I think there's been a huge resurgence in people wanting to buy locally and support people. And I think farmers markets are going to be the wave of the future. You can build relationships. You can, if you want, like befriend those farmers and ranchers and then eventually go to their locations, see what they're doing, and if you're lucky enough, even get to help them. So our guest today, actually, let me back up a little bit. Maybe you want to go to a farmer's market. Maybe there's not one in your local community. Maybe you want to figure out how to start one. Well, our guest today is Megan Harris, and she is a former ag teacher, and she has helped build up a farmer's market community in North Carolina. She's all about growing farmers markets, how to increase the amount of vendors, how you can help market them, and a whole bunch of really great stuff on how you can improve your farmer market in your community. And so we're going to chat about all things about their farming operation, which is Harris Family Farm in North Carolina, what it's like growing vegetables, growing goats, or raising goats, having chickens, all that stuff. And Megan was actually also an ag teacher, which I only lasted for about 2 years. And we're going to talk about how cool it is being an ag teacher, all the cool experiences, what the great kids are like. And also Megan will tell us what homesteading is. There's been a huge, I think, interest in people wanting to homestead, like raise stuff locally at their home. And so we're going to chat about that. And also Megan's going to tell us what her tips are on how you can be successful at a farmer's market. So I really hope you enjoy this episode. I had a blast chatting with Megan, and Megan was actually kind enough to let me use this episode for a little tutorial on how to edit podcasts in Adobe Audition. So if you're on our YouTube channel, or if you want to check out our YouTube channel, I did a video on this explaining how I use Adobe Audition. And if you are interested in podcasting, or if you know somebody that's interested in podcasting, send them the video. I think it might be helpful. I had a lot of trouble finding very good, reliable content on YouTube or on the internet on how to edit. So again, Megan, thanks for letting me use this episode. I think it turned out great. And I had a lot of fun chatting with you. So anyway, thanks so much, Megan, and thanks so much, everybody, for listening to the Farm Traveler Podcast. Hope you enjoyed the episode. All right, I'm going to stop recording. So not a bad one. Turned out okay. Little things I need to fix. So let me click it. I don't know why it's okay. That's weird. It normally isn't red like that after you're recording. So yeah, all right, I'm going to click it. And first off, you notice how there's a few peaks and valleys in here. I'm going to go fix those real quick. Actually, no. I'm going to do the background noise. So let me click here. All right, you notice that? That's a lot of little background noise there. So I'm going to go to Effects, Noise Reduction, Restoration, and I'm going to hit Capture Noise Print. So anytime you have really bad or distracting background noise, this is what you're going to want to do. Again, highlight that, go up to Effects, go to noise reduction and restoration, hit capture noise print, and then scroll out, click the entire audio track, go back to edits or effects, go to noise reduction, and then hit noise reduction. So this is taking that audio clip that you just selected, and it's going to apply a filter that masks the background audio. And then you're going to hit apply. And then check this out. If I go here where it was, it's now flat. And listen to this. Nothing, which is awesome. So I'm going to delete this section because this is where I was still talking to you. And then let's see how it goes. Hello and welcome to the Farm Traveler podcast. My name is Trevor Williams, and today on the show we are talking with. So not bad. So I'm going to lower this a little bit because I'm then going to back and raise all of this. So let me just go back and fix all this stuff. Again, I do not know anything in Adobe Audition that fixes all of this. So if you do know of something, let me know. You can see there's this huge spike right here. Market in your community. And so what I also do sometimes is I fix the breathing where it's like, you can do this. You don't have to do it. Sometimes I do it. I'm going to do it every now and then. Let me just go here and then I'm going to fix this. Boop, there we go. Actually, I need to do it again. All right, we're good. So not bad. Where was trouble finding very good, reliable content? All right, here's a stutter. Very good, reliable content on YouTube. So easy to fix this. Just gonna highlight it, hit delete. Content on YouTube or on the internet. Really on how to edit. So again, Megan, thanks for letting me use this episode. I think it turned out great. All right, I'm going to lower that too. Great. And I had a lot of fun chatting with you. Fun chatting with you. Oh, look at this. Easy fix. Highlight it. Fun chat with you. Nope. Fun chatting with a. All right, there we go. Sometimes you just have to click and drag and find the sweet spot. Fun chatting with you. Not with. Nope. Chatting with. Chat with you. No. What in the world? I can't figure it out. With you. Let's try this. Chatting with you. Not with. A lot of fun chatting with you. Yeah, sometimes it takes a few minutes to figure out how to get that sounding right. I mean, it can sound horrible, or you can just work for a couple of minutes and get it to sound much better. So it's fun chatting with you. Let me just take out this pause. Fun chatting with you. Not with a. With you. So anyway, okay, sounds pretty good. Not bad. I'm gonna delete this part too. Had a lot of fun chatting with you. Okay, sounds pretty good. Not perfect. Again, will never sound perfect. Sounds pretty good. Fun chatting with you. Thanks so much, Megan, and thanks so much everybody for listening to the Farm Traveler podcast. Hope you enjoyed the episode. All right, not bad. Boom, we're gonna hit done. All right, I'm going to highlight it. I'm gonna hit effects, or I'm sorry, favorites. Hit normalize to -3. And you see it didn't do much. That's because it takes the high points, and that's what it sets to -3. So I'm going to lower that a little bit more. Let me just go to these high points again. I imagine what's going to happen, this video is going to get a couple thousand views, and then afterwards somebody's going to say, hey, dum-dum, this is how you do what you're doing right now. This is how you lower the peaks, and then I'll do a separate video. But yeah, it's all about learning. It's not bad. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to raise it just a little bit. All right. Huge resurgence in people wanting to. Not bad. So you see how you might have a little lull kind of here. So I'm just going to highlight this part. It's kind of a lull. Nope, I'm sorry. I'm going to go here. And then I'm just going to raise up that part. Look at that. You can do that. It's so easy. Just going to raise it up a little bit. Raise the roof right there. Not too much. And then I'm just going to hit save. Go back to 0. And then let's go back here. And we're going to do kind of the same thing where the music's slowly going out and then the audio kicks in. Hello and welcome to the Farm Traveler podcast. My name is Trevor Williams. All right, pretty good. Then we're going to go over here and we are going to drag it over. Hope you enjoyed the episode. All right, episode. Nope. So yeah, you can click and drag while the audio is playing, but as soon as you click and drag it, it's going to skip to where it's already played. So usually have to go back and check it out.
All right, well, Megan, welcome to the Farm Traveler.
All right, sounds pretty good. I'm actually gonna move this forward a little bit.
All right, well,
all right, pretty good. Pretty good. Oh, almost forgot. Let's go here. Let's do dialogue. Let's do clarity. Let's do 3.
Megan,
First markets. How to
raise it
up a little
increase
bit the amount of vendors
to 1.
how you can help market them, and a whole bunch of really great stuff on how you can improve
25.
your farm. There we go. Sweet. Oh, let's go to the end. Oh goodness, let's edit the end because I'm pretty sure it's just like goodbye, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, there we go. Let's see.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, pretty good. Not bad. All right. Oh, we need a call to action. I've been trying to do this more and more. A call to action at the end of the episode. That way you can be like, hey, thanks for listening. Check us out here. Do whatever you want. So let me just do a quick little one here. Thanks so much for listening to this episode with Megan. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to visit us at our website, which is www.thefarmtraveler.com, and you can see a lot of great content, even more episodes and articles featuring farmers, ranchers, and everybody in the food and agriculture world. And if you haven't already, consider sharing this episode with a family member or a friend. Organic growth like that helps us grow a ton, and it helps us reach a huge audience. So if you learned a thing or two from this episode, or if you enjoyed it, which I hope you did, consider sharing it with anybody that you might know. Whatever podcast app you're listening to Farm Traveler on, there is a share option, which you can just share it there. You can share it in Messenger, whatever you might use. So thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next week. So quick little edit there. Gonna go here. Usually don't really do sound or editing out the background noise, but let's see here. You can hear it a little bit, so I'm just gonna do it here. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know the statistics on people listening to the end of it, so I'm not going to edit it heavily. And that's okay. Boom, let's change this a little bit. Editing out these peaks and valleys just a tad so it doesn't blow their eardrums off. When it comes to podcasting, you want to have, I don't want to say pleasurable audio, but you want decent audio. That way it's not fluctuating a bunch. It's not going to hurt their eardrums. You want them to not complain about the audio quality while they're listening to it, because that's the only input. So clearly you want some good sounding audio. All right, that looks pretty good to me. So let's try it out. Thanks so much for listening to this episode with Megan. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next week. All right, sounds pretty good. Forgot this thing. Let's click it, hit dialogue, hit background voice, and 2.5. No, we'll go to 3. Consider sharing, and we're gonna hit save. So to export, I just hit export. Multi-track mix down, entire session, not just the selected clips. If you do that, you're only gonna do the highlighted ones. So I'm gonna hit entire session. I'm going to browse, and I'm going to call it 107 final. And hit save. And this is what I found to be the best for resulting audio. Save it as an MP3, 44, 100 hertz, 16-bit. You're pretty good. You might use it differently, totally fine. And I'm gonna hit OK and export it. And that's it. I hope this was helpful. Hopefully I'll do some more videos like this to show you how I use Notion, or how I might do videos in Premiere Pro. So what do you think? Did you find this helpful? Do you use Adobe Audition, or do you still use Audacity? If you do, let me know in the comments. And thanks so much for watching this video. See you in the next one.